If you own a business here in the US, listen up. There is a brand new mandatory filing you absolutely cannot ignore. It's called the Beneficial Ownership Information Report, or BOI report, and you are definitely going to want to pay attention, because getting this wrong could be a very expensive mistake.
And when I say expensive, I'm talking about this number, $500. That's the potential penalty for every single day you fail to file. Yeah, you heard that right. The stakes are really high. But don't you worry, the process is totally manageable once you know the steps.
So let's start with the basics. Where did this even come from? Well, this is a new federal mandate, and for most US companies, it's a massive change that you just can't afford to overlook.
The whole thing stems from a piece of legislation called the Corporate Transparency Act, or the CTA. And its goal is pretty simple: to pull back the curtain on who actually owns and controls companies. It requires businesses to report who their owners are to FinCEN. That's the US Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, all to help fight money laundering and other illegal stuff.
So who exactly needs to file this thing? Well, the scope is incredibly broad. I'm talking LLCs, corporations, pretty much any legal entity that's registered to do business in any US state. Odds are, if you have a company, you need to file this report.
All right, let's get practical. Before you can even think about filling out the form, you've got to gather some specific information about your company. Let's break down exactly what you're going to need. You'll need 4 key things. First, the company's full legal name. Second, its tax ID number. That's your EIN. Third, the state or jurisdiction where it was formed. And finally, its current US business address. And here's a crucial tip. They want your principal place of business. A PO box or your registered agent's address won't cut it. They want to know where you actually operate.
Okay, once you've got the company info sorted, it's time for the real heart of the report: identifying the people behind the business. These are what they call the beneficial owners. Basically, anyone who has substantial control over the company or owns at least 25% of it. And for every single one of those beneficial owners, you are going to need their full legal name, their date of birth, and their complete home address. It's worth pointing out, even if an owner lives overseas, you can absolutely use a foreign residential address for this.
But it doesn't stop there. You also have to provide information from an official ID. You'll need the document number, the state or country that issued it, and this is really important, you have to upload a clear, legible picture of the actual document itself.
So, what kind of ID are they looking for? Well, the options are pretty specific. A current US driver's license, a state-issued ID card, a US passport, or, if the owner is a foreign national, a valid foreign passport is perfectly fine. Okay, now we're getting to a part of the process that isn't obvious at all, but it is incredibly valuable. This is a strategic choice you can make that could save you a ton of headaches later on. This brings us to a really important question. Should you request a FinCEN ID? Now, a FinCEN ID is just a unique number that FinCEN gives you as an individual. And trust me, if you own more than one business, or you even think you might start another one in the future, this is a total game changer. And here's why it matters so much. See, without a FinCEN ID, you have to type in all your personal info and upload your ID picture for every single company. But with a FinCEN ID, you just enter that one unique number and you're done. It's basically an express lane for all your future filings. All right, let's talk about the most urgent part of all this, the deadlines. The clock is definitely ticking, and your due date depends entirely on when your company was created. You really need to pay close attention to this timeline. For any company that was created before 2024, you have until January 1st, 2025 to get this done. If your company was created during 2024, you've got a 90-day window from its formation date. But for any company created in 2025 or later, that window gets a whole lot smaller, down to just 30 days. When you're on the government portal and you're finally ready to submit, there's a simple final checklist. You'll certify that everything is true and accurate.
Give them an email address so they can send a confirmation, hit submit, and please don't forget this. Save the digital receipt for your records. You need that proof.
And to be crystal clear about how important this is, the form itself has a warning. It says that any willful failure to provide complete or updated information can lead to significant civil or even criminal penalties. This isn't a one-and-done filing. You have to keep it accurate over time.
So, what's the bottom line here? The BOI report is a mandatory filing. It has serious deadlines and very real penalties. But as we've just walked through, if you have the right information ready to go, it is an entirely manageable task. Which brings us to the final and, let's be honest, the most important question for you right now. Now that you know exactly what's required, is your company's information gathered and ready to go? The deadlines are real, so the time to get prepared is now.